Hello everyone, this is Fantasy-esque and welcome back to Season 3 of Royal Clan in ClanGen. When we left off, the clan had experienced a death, losing Ghostfella to infection. However, they also had ceremonies for their 3 apprentices, who received the names Lion Freckle, Lotus Gaze, and Scorch Hollow. And I completely forgot to mention that typically, the apprentice who has the highest experience on the 11th moon graduates with the title of Prince or Princess, marking them as an elite warrior. And from this batch, Lion Freckle graduated as the Lion Prince. I also said that I would be playing off camera until we had a pregnancy notice, so we're actually supposed to have some good news. However, a lot of things have happened which will completely change the course of the game, all of which I noted down, so let's take a look. It was Moon 120 in the first turn of New Leaf when we left off. On Moon 121, in the second turn of New Leaf, 4 things happened. Garlic Glow overcame her grief, Queen Rainstar got a present of gorse flowers from Scorch Hollow to wear on her pelt, Cinnamon Tail recovered from White Cough, and Hemlock's frostbite healed, but the injury left her scarred. On Moon 122, in the third turn of New Leaf, 2 things happened. Garlic Glow was struggling with nightmares, but it stopped, and Queen Rainstar was climbing a tree and got a splinter from one of the branches. On Moon 123, in the first turn of Greenleaf, 2 things happened. Shining Stripe, Flare Freckle, and Bear Pelt overcame their grief, and Queen Rainstar's small cut healed up nicely. On Moon 124, in the second turn of Greenleaf, 3 things happened. The Royals accepted a cat named Golden Fern into 7th Clan, Lion Freckle got a heat stroke, and Inkfeather became a senior. On Moon 125, in the third turn of Greenleaf, 6 things happened. Flare Freckle found a patch of blue flower bulbs and gifted them to Shining Stripe. Hemlock retired from her position as Royal Advisor. Lion Freckle recovered from heat stroke. Inkfeather was promoted to Royal Advisor. Shining Stripe was promoted to Royal Physician, and Flare Freckle was promoted to Matchmaker. This next one was the big one. On Moon 126, in the first turn of Leaf Fall, 8 things happened. Flare Freckle got a rat bite and torn pelt while fighting off a horde of rats. Shining Stripe and Bear Pelt became a senior. Cinnamon Tail slipped on some rocks and twisted his tail. Scorch Hollow saved Queen Rainstar from a fox but was hurt. And then, during a patrol where the cats were crossing a thunder path, a speeding monster hit several cats, killing them. Lotus Gaze, Freezefur, Inkfeather, Fiercetooth, and Lion Freckle died. Foxclaw was the sole survivor of that incident. Shining Stripe was promoted to Royal Advisor, Flare Freckle was promoted to Royal Physician, Bear Pelt was promoted to Matchmaker. And then my game crashed, bringing us all the way back to Moon 120, which means the cats have a second chance at life, and the clan's fate has forever been changed. I've never had something like this happen before, so there was no way I could pass it up. I think StarClan must have had a hand in this, deciding that the losses we faced were too much, and that Royal Clan should be headed for a different direction. So guys, we are replaying Moon 120 in the first turn of New Leaf to see how much the story has changed. And I can already see that some things have undeniably changed, so let's go through events. Royal Clan has no deputy. The infection in Ghostfeather's wound has abated. Freezefur finds dry cat mints while out on a walk and decides to keep them. Hemlock died from frostbite. Guys, in the original timeline, Ghostfeather died from his infection and Hemlock actually survived the frostbite, but she got a scar from it. It seems, though, that this time around, Ghostfeather is the one to survive and Hemlock has died instead. Damn. I mean, I'm sad that Hemlock has died, but I think I was much more gutted over Ghostfeather's death because at least Hemlock lived a pretty, decent life. She lived a pretty full life. She got to have, a litter of her own and everything, whereas Ghostfeather, he's still fairly young, like he hasn't lived that much, so I'm kind of happy that he has a second chance at life. I think he deserves it. Lionpool's pelt is looking much better. Our 3 apprentices, they aged up with the same sort of names. So we have Lion Freckle, we have Lotus Gaze, and we have Scorch Hollow. All of the cats, or I should say Lion Freckle and Lotus Gaze, they got the same personality, and all of them are great teachers, just like they were in the original timeline. The only one with a slight difference is Scorch Hollow. In the original timeline, he was loving. In this timeline, he is confident. So there's that difference. And then, let's see, Bear Pelt blinks back tears as realization sinks in that he'll never share a joke or a companionable silence with Hemlock ever again in this life. Hemlock was his mate. He can't be bothered to get up out of his nest the next day, refusing to speak a word to those around him. The past moon, Hemlock has taken their place in Star Clan. Royal Clan mourns their loss, and the clanmates will miss the spot they took up in their lives. Moments of their life are shared in stories around the circle of mourners as those that were closest to them take them to their final resting place. I can't imagine how terrible it must have been for Lion Freckle, Lotus Gaze, and Scorch Hollow to go through a ceremony immediately after their mother had died. I think that would have been very, very rough indeed for them to, be happy for themselves and to be able to celebrate in any capacity when they literally are still under the shadow of their mother's death. But that's what we have for main events. Okay, let's take a look at the Medicine Cat Den. Ghost Feather has his rat bite. I think his infected wound got better, but the rat bite persists. Cinnamon Tail still has his white cough. And then Shining Stripe, Flare Freckle, Bear Pelt, and Garlic Glow are still grieving. We don't have anything minor to worry about. In terms of the log, Shining Stripe was given Juniper as treatment for grief-stricken, Flare Freckle was given Juniper as treatment for grief-stricken, Ghost Feather was given Cobwebs as treatment for rat bite, Ghost Feather was given Marigold as treatment for infected wound. Yep, the infection abated. Garlic Glow was given Juniper as treatment for grief-stricken. Cinnamon Tail was given Poppy as treatment for white cough. Hemlock was given Ragwort as treatment for frostbite, however she succumbed to it and died. Rosemary was used for her body. Lionpaw was given Cobwebs as treatment for torn pelt. His pelt is much better, and then Ink Feather gathered Rosemary, Thyme, and Elder Leaves and Burdock this moon. And that's all we have for the Medicine Den log. Okay, let's go ahead and check out the relationship events. Now guys, I have to say, obviously all of this happened because I forgot to save my game, and so when the game crashed, it took me back to the last save, which was Moon 120. This is because it has been like way too many months since I last played with ClanGen, and I don't know why. I had it in my head that it saves automatically after each turn. Apparently that wasn't the case, but you know what? I'm glad this happened early on so that I don't end up playing like 100 moons. It was only 6 moons. Like I don't end up playing 100 moons only for the game to crash and then for me to realize that, oh, I have to go all the way back and start again. So I think it's good that it happened when it did, but also it might be fascinating within the story if maybe the next 6 moons or everything that happened in the original timeline was actually a vision sent to Queen Rainstar by StarClan about the dangers that the clan might face over the next 6 moons. And so Rainstar might be having more meetings with her royal advisor and her royal physician to make sure that when they do patrols and organize those kind of things, that they keep in mind the things that happen to the different cats and the patrol combinations that they had, so that they can maybe prevent some of the deaths that StarClan showed them. That'd be very intriguing. But okay, let's get going. Shining Stripe worries that the clan trusts Ghost Feather more than him. Shining Stripe suspects that Lotus Pool gets special treatment. Flarefreckle notices how Scorchpaw is being helpful around camp. Flarefreckle and Fiercetooth gossip about drama nobody else knows. Usually, for things like gossip, I always say it's the last negative thing to happen, so it would probably be Shining Stripe suspecting Lotus Paw getting special treatment. Bearpelt has a lot of fun with Queen Rainstar. Bearpelt noticed that Linepaw is falling behind in training and offered to help catch him up, which is very nice. Inkfeather checks in on Flarefreckle every day. Fiercetooth does something that makes Inkfeather's day a little happier. Foxclaw and Freezefur drink from the same puddle. Foxclaw thought Fiercetooth was very polite today. Ghostfeather is told about Flarefreckle's bravery during a recent time of struggle. Scorchpaw believes in Ghostfeather's version of events when something happens and the clan doubts him. Freezefur nearly tripped but was caught by Bearpelt. Freezefur sees Scorchpaw be kind to one of Freezefur's friends. Garlic Glow is impressed by some of Cinnamon Tail's advice. Garlic Glow, Cinnamon Tail, and Fiercetooth had a nice talk while eating. Ghostfella keeps yawning during Garlic Glow's story. Queen Rainstar helps Foxclaw figure out how to word something. Queen Rainstar, Fiercetooth, and Inkfeather had a nice talk while eating. Linepaw surprises Queen Rainstar with something nice. Cinnamon Tail didn't expect an apology from Freezefur but accepted it regardless. Fiercetooth thanks Freezefur for covering for her during a patrol earlier. Linefreckle, so this is when I think we've had, the ceremonies for the apprentices. Linefreckle waves to Scorchpaw with his tail as the patrols cross paths in the territory. This must have been between ceremonies. The whole clan notices how close Lotus Gaze and Flarefreckle are lately. And then Scorch Hollow is sharing a piece of fresh kill with Queen Rainstar. This is intriguing to me, the bond between Scorch Hollow and Queen Rainstar, because in the original timeline, Scorch Hollow, he actually gave Queen Rainstar some gorse flowers to decorate her fur, and then he also got hurt while saving her from a fox. So it's kind of intriguing to see that continue in some way over here in this alternate timeline. I suppose this has become the original timeline. The other one is the alternate one. Or I should say the Vision timeline. Maybe I'll refer to it as the Vision timeline, and this is the original timeline. But okay, that's all we have for the relationship events. And now we're going to go through the cat list. So first thing to note, because Hemlock has passed on and she was a royal advisor, we are having some promotions, or we have had some promotions. So Inkfeather has been promoted to royal advisor, Shining Stripe has been promoted to royal physician, and Flarefreckle has been promoted to matchmaker. So that's what we have. And then Freezefur found some dried cat mint that he is now wearing on his fur, which is adorable. And like I was saying to you guys, the apprentices who aged up, like the new warriors, they have the same names, they have, I think, mostly the same personalities and such, except for Scorch Hollow. So Linefreckle is childish and a great teacher. Lotus Gaze is bloodthirsty, a great teacher and a good speaker, and then Scorch Hollow is confident. He's an excellent teacher and den builder, which is interesting. So he's the only one that had any sort of change. And that's kind of made me curious, like, did they learn something different from their mentors? I'm not sure. So Linefreckle was mentored by his cousin. Fiercetooth influenced him to be more likely to stay collected, start a fight, and be cool towards others. I don't remember how this is different from the last one. It seems kind of similar. Lotus Gaze was mentored by his father. Bearpelt influenced him to be more likely to use words over teeth and claws, interact with others, adapt easily, and make their own rules. I think it's a variation of what he had before. Scorch Hollow is different. Oh my goodness, Scorch Hollow changed the most. Okay, he was mentored by Shining Stripe, his uncle, Hemlock, his mother, and Freezefur? Okay, that wasn't there before. It was just Shining Stripe and Hemlock. Shining Stripe influenced him to be more likely to be ready for a fight. Freeze Fur influenced him to be more likely to refrain from socializing and use teeth and claws over words. Shining Stripe helped him become better at teaching. Freeze Fur helped him become better at teaching. Oh, that's so interesting. So Scorch Hollow, in the Vision timeline, he and his brothers were all great teachers. His brothers are still great teachers in this timeline, but he is an even better teacher than them. He's an excellent teacher and a den builder, so that's really, really cool. Oh wow. Okay, let's go ahead and see what everyone is up to for the day. And I'm pretty sure in the Vision timeline they went in support of, they weren't loyal to the Queen, and I don't think anything would have changed. Yeah, they're still not loyal to the Queen, so that's something that's going to stay with them for life. Let's see what everyone is doing for the day. Queen Rainstar enjoys the warmth of New Leaf. Inkfeather wants to visit the elders to hear a story. Shining Stripe is thoughtfully grooming Queen Rainstar. Flare Freckle is drinking water from a nearby stream. Bear Pelt thinks Hemlock is doing a great job as the advisor. Ghost Feather is stretching out. Foxclaw purrs as a cool breeze hits him. Freeze Fur tries to set a good example for younger cats. Cinnamon Tail is showing off his battle moves. Hold on a second. Interesting. Fierce Tooth is fetching Queen Rainstar for another cat who is looking for her. Line Freckle is hiding his tears as he comforts the others about Hemlock's passing. Aww. His mother Hemlock. Lotus Gaze took a long walk on his own to mourn Hemlock in private. Scorch Hollow helped bury Hemlock, leaving her favorite prey at the grave. Oh my goodness, her sons. Her sons. Garlic Glow enjoys the warmth of New Leaf, and that is all we have for the cats in the cat list. And now for our patrols. So we currently have 68 prey and we need 38.5, so we're very comfortable with food. I think also in the last episode, we actually found some newborn kittens, if I'm not mistaken. One of the kittens was paralyzed, I remember. So let's see what happens this time around. Who is the... Hold on. I suppose I was gonna say, who's the royal physician? Shining Stripe is, but he's grieving, so he's not gonna be able to go out. Flare Freckle is our matchmaker, but since she's grieving too, we can't do any matchmaking between Fierce Tooth and Foxclaw, so we're gonna have to ignore that. Okay, so we'll have a patrol of 6 and a patrol of 2. So first up, we have Line Freckle, Queen Rainstar, Scorch Hollow, Freeze Fur, Lotus Gaze, and Fierce Tooth. Let's see what they get up to. The patrol devolves into ghost stories, putting everyone on edge. A branch snaps, and the whole patrol runs back to camp. Later, an argument breaks out over what caused the noise. And then we have Foxclaw and Inkfeather who are going out on a patrol. While on patrol, Foxclaw notices some suspicious paw prints in the mud beneath the canopy. Proceed. The paw prints lead to a trespassing rogue. The patrol quickly hides behind a bush and sets up an ambush that sends the rogue fleeing off Royal Clan territory. Okay, thankfully everyone was safe, and everything so far is okay. But that is all we have for this episode. It was definitely an emotional roller coaster for me because I thought it was going in a completely different direction. I do feel immensely sad for Hemlock's loss, but I can't help being a little bit greedy about getting Ghost Feather back. And once more, I will be playing off camera until we get a pregnancy notice. Hopefully, things go easier this time around and we can come back without too many losses. With that said and done, I'm going to leave off. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.